For challenge 2, question 1, you had to construct a line graph based on the data that you were given in this information table, and we will look at that ourselves and have a look at your own individual line graphs and how you all got on with constructing those. Question 2 says, between which ages did David's mass increase most quickly? Now, as we talked about this morning in our video, what you have to do there is look for the steepest increase in your graph. So I'm going to look here at my graph, which I've done following the instructions in question 1. And I can see two places where the increase is steeper than the rest of the graph, which is here and here. Now what I mean by that is the line is going up in weight in a shorter space of time than, for example, the start of the graph between these 2 points and also between these 2 points. Now I'm going to compare them and see which one is increasing more quickly, just to be sure. So first of all, at 11 months here, I can see that he is 35 kilograms, if I read across carefully there. And at 13 months, I can see that he is 50 kilograms. So the difference there, or the increase in weight between 11 months and 13 months is 15 kilograms. It's the difference between 50 and 35. So there's 15 kilograms there for that part. And I'm going to do the other slightly steeper section of my graph now just to compare it. So I can see at 15 months he was 55 kilograms, and at 17 months he was 65 kilograms. And again, the difference between those two is how much weight he gained, and that is 10 kilograms. So the steeper as part of the graph, the part where he put on most weight, was between 11 and 13 months. It was 15 kilograms. So your answer to that question, question 2, between which ages did David's mass increase most quickly, is between the ages of 11 and 13 months. In question 3, it says use your graph to find David's approximate mass at these ages. So we have a few ones to go through here, which I'll now go through using the graph that I made earlier. Okay, A is 16 years old, so I'm going to go across to 16, which is going to be in between 15 and 17, so I know it's going to be there. And I'm going to read up my graph, so you will have done this with a ruler, you'll be much neater than I am. And reading then across carefully to the weight that he was, which is here, and that is 60 kilograms. So the approximate weight, there your answer is 60 kilograms. B asks us to find the approximate weight when he was 14 years old. So I'm going to go along to 14. I know it's going to be in between 13 and 15. Again, I'm reading up. And you can see that it's not exact here. It doesn't meet or intersect on a horizontal line. So I'm going to have to be very careful when I read across here. I know it's going to be in between two numbers. And it's in between 50 and where 55 would be there. So halfway in between 50 and 55, well, half of 5 is 2.5. So if I add that on to 50, I know it's 52.5 kilograms, or 52.5 kilograms. C is 12 years, so it's going to be in between 11 and 13. I'm reading up. And again, it's in between 2 points here. It's in between two horizontal lines, so I'm going to read across very carefully. This time it's in between 40 and where 45 would be there. It's in between 40 and 45. So again, half of 5 kilograms is 2.5 kilograms. So I'm going to add that onto my 40, and that gives me 42.5 kilograms, or 42.5 kilograms. D is 10 years, so I'm going to go in between 9 and 11. Up we go. We're in between 2 points again, and I'm reading across. So that's in between 30 and 35 kilograms. So again, using my knowledge, half of 5 being 2.5, then I know it's 32.5 kilograms. E is 8 years, so it's going to be between 7 and 9, and I'm reading up and across carefully. Again, it's in between two horizontal lines, so we've got to be really careful there. This time it's in between 25 and 30. Now I know that half of that 5 again is 2.5, so I'm going to add it on to the lower number there, which is 25. So I know that that point is 27.5 kilograms, or 27.5 kilograms. F is 6 years, so between 5 and 7, up and across. Okay, so it's between 20 and 25, so again I know that's 22.5 or 22.5 kilograms. G is 4 years, which we actually did in the example, so if we go between 3 and 5 and read up and across, this one is in between 15 and 20. So adding the 2.5 on the 15, because 2.5 is half of 5, that gives us 17.5 kilograms. H is 2 years, so again we'll go in between 1 and 3, which is where 2 will be, we read up and across. It's halfway in between 10 and 15, which I know is 12.5. Add the 2.5 on again, because 2.5 is half of 5. 12.5 kilograms is your answer there. Now that's not the answer it gives in the answer book, which you have the answers posted online for you. Occasionally we have found that they will put in the odd answer incorrectly, and this is one of those occasions. So if you get 12.5 kilograms for that, you are correct. Be reassured. Well done. Now we're going to move on and look at challenge 2, question 4. So challenge 2, question 4a asks us, what was the difference in David's mass between the ages of 5 and 10 years? Well, looking at 5 years first of all, I can see that he was 20 kilograms. Looking at 10 years then, which is in between 9 and 11, and again I'm reading across carefully there because it's between two horizontal lines on my graph, I can see that he was 32.5, halfway in between 30 and 35, so 32.5 kilograms. So this time I'm going to do a little taking away sum. I'm going to make sure when I do this taking away sum that my numbers are all lined up, so I'm just going to rewrite that more neatly. I'm doing 32.5, take away 20, and I'm going to fill in 0 as my placeholder there. Now hopefully many of you will have used your mental strategies to work that out, but if you're not too sure, you can always write it out as a vertical sum to make sure. So 5 take 0 is 5, don't forget your decimal point, 2 take 0 is 2, and 3 take 2 is 1. So the answer to that one is 12.5 kilograms. 4b asks us what was the difference in David's mass between the ages of 10 and 15 years. So 10 I already know because I did it in the previous question, it's 32.5 kilograms. So I'm going to just have a look at 15 years here, all the way up and across. It's on my horizontal line, reading across carefully, so that is in between 60 and 50, so that's 55 kilograms. So this time I have 55 kilograms and I'm taking away 32.5. Again, I'm going to put my placeholder in there, a 0 in the tenths, so that my sum is correct. And again, you can use mental strategies to do this, but if you were to check it as a vertical sum, let's just work it out that way to make sure we're correct. 0 take 5 I can't do, so I'm going to go to my next house, which is the ones house. I'm going to take 1 from that and put it here. So now I've got 10 take 5 is 5. Don't forget your decimal point. 4 take 2 is 2, and 5 take 3 is 2. So my answer to that one is 22.5 kilograms, or 22.5 kilograms. Question 5 asks, how many more kilograms did David gain between the ages of 10 and 15 years than between the ages of 5 and 10 years? Now between the ages of 10 and 15, we worked out before, just on our last question there, that he gained 22.5 kilograms. And in the previous question, we worked out that between the ages of 5 and 10, he gained 12.5 kilograms. So how many more kilograms did he gain? Well, we're finding the difference between the two amounts there. So again, we're taking away, or using your counting column strategies to add on, which again, hopefully many of you did instinctively. The answer there is 10. So it was 10 kilograms more that he gained. So your answer for number 5, 10 kilograms. Challenge 3 then is looking at David's height. The graph shows David's height measured in centimetres from the age of 9 to 17. What did David's height measure at age 10? Okay, so at age 10, age is along our x-axis or our bottom axis. So at age 10, if we read up and across very carefully, it's in between 130 and 140 centimetres. So I know that is 135 centimetres. It's halfway in between those 2 points. And question 1b asks, what did David's height measure at age 14? So I'm going to go again to age 14 along the bottom here. Read up and across. Now you can see that it's not exact, so I've got to make a good estimate here. The answer book is very specific again, but you can't be that specific really with an estimate. So what we're going to say here is any answer which is between 156 centimetres and 157 centimetres would be correct. So 156, 157, or indeed 156.5 if you put that. Could all be marked as correct for that question. Question 2 says, between which ages did he gain 7.5 centimetres in height? Now, as we talked about on the teaching video this morning, 1 square tall, if you like, on your graph here, is 5 centimetres. 2 squares tall is 10 centimetres. So for 7.5 centimetres, it has to be 1.5 squares tall, which is 5 plus 2.5. So we're really looking for a square and a half of height gain to make 7.5 centimetres. So it's going to be 2 points that go 1.5 squares high. And I'm going to show you which 2 those are. Now, you might have had to look at a few to see if it was 7.5 or maybe more than that or less than that. You might have had to work through a few examples or a few different possibilities before you find those. But I'm going to show you which 2 it is and why. So the first answer for that one is between the ages of 11 and 12. If we look at 11 here and we look at 12, you can see that at age 11 he is roughly about, but he's in between 135 and 140, so we could say that that would be 137.5. And at age 12, he's exactly 145 centimetres. And the difference between those 2 is 7.5. So 11 and 12, between the ages of 11 and 12, is one of your answers there. So between 11 and 12. The other possibility is between the ages of 13 and 14. If you have a look at age 13 here, he's 150 centimetres tall, and at 14 he is 157.5 centimetres tall. That's between 155 and 160. So between 150 and 157.5, there's 7.5 centimetres of difference. So that's your other possible answer between the ages of 13 and 14. 2 possible answers to that one. If you got them both, very well done. If you only put one, that's okay, because you're only really asked to find one. It didn't make it that very clear. But those are the 2 possible answers that you could have. Question 3, about how old was he when he measured 165 centimetres. So I'm going to go up my y-axis, the vertical axis, to 165, which is here, between 160 and 170. And I'm going to read across and down. It meets at an intersection, so that's nice and handy. I can go straight down this vertical line, which comes to exactly in between 15 and 16. So your answer for that question, he would have been 15.5. Or you could say 15.5 if you're doing decimals. 15.5 or 15.5 years old. Question 4, as I explained in the teaching video, you could have lots and lots of different answers for that. So I'll have a look at what each of you put individually for that and see what you got. Well done, everybody. I hope you found that okay today. And if there's any specific problems or anything you still don't understand, let us know in the comments on the assignment and we'll help you out. Thank you. Bye, everybody.